Hi, Best Buds. It's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Food boxes. I really like using food boxes for the cover of a junk journal. Now, the food boxes are a little thicker than regular just cardstock, and so they make really lovely covers. So what I want to do with this one is I want to cut a piece out of this right here that's 5 inches by 7 1/4 inch. And voila, there we are. It's already cut. And as you can see, it fits perfectly right there in the front or back of this box. So you could get 2 of these mini tall junk journals out of one box of these crackers. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in some lightweight copy paper that I have coffee dyed, as you can see. And I made one of these, and I just took my stamp, and I've got this stamp right here, and I took my Stays On Timber Brown, and I stamped all over this, and I went all kinds of directions. I went like this, and then maybe over here, and I just kind of did a little here and a little there. So just like that. And as you can see, or as you will be seeing, I used this for my cover. So if you don't have a digital, this will work perfectly. Just get your stamps and go ahead and stamp up your piece of paper, and you can use that as your cover for your journal. Now, maybe you do have a digital. I am choosing these letter type of look. I don't know, I just think it's kind of going with the theme. I don't really know what theme I have, but I just like this look. So let's go ahead and let's use, well, actually, let's use this one. I'm going to finish with stamping on this page, and we're going to use the one that I stamped. All right, I've turned it this way just so it gets on the camera. And I have my piece, and it's 5 inches by 7 1/4 inches. And I want to turn this over like this, and I'm going to glue my cover, or that's what it's going to be, onto my page that I have decorated. So I'm going to use my Yoo-Hoo glue stick, and I'm going to apply some glue onto this. Just like this. And then I'm going to get my art glitter glue, and I'm going to go around the edge. Just like this. Okay. And then I'm going to lay it onto my page. Now I'm going to lay it so I have a border on this side, because I'm able to do that right here. So I'm going to get it on across bars, and I'm just going to lay it so it's like a 1/2 inch. I'm not measuring, guys, but it's kind of like a 1/2 inch from the edge of my cover here to the edge of the paper. And I'm just collecting and wiping off the glue that oozed, but I do like to glue it that way. Now, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in my ruler, and I'm just going to mark just about a 1/2 inch. And once again, if it's not exactly a 1/2 inch, that's okay, you guys. I'm just marking it so that I get at least enough, and you can see, you will be seeing what I'm going to do with it in just a minute, as soon as I get this marked. So marking it like this. Okay. And then getting my scissors, I'm going to trim it out. I'm not even really cutting exactly, just something close. It doesn't even matter if it's straight. I'm going to bend up my paper on the sides like this and give it a crease. And then I'm going to bend it up on this side and give it a crease, and over here. Okay, looks like this on the front. Oh, I do think that's pretty. I love the color, and I kind of love the fact that it goes here and there, and you've made it yourself. Now, where these folds are, I don't know if you can actually see the folds. Can you see the folds there? Sure you can. You can see those folds. I'm going to cut that out, and I'm just going to take it just a little bit further than the actual crease. Just a tiny bit. We're just going to make it lay a little flatter once we fold it up and glue it on. And this will, doing it this way, will finish off the sides of your journal. Finishing off the sides right here. It's going to give a finish to it. So now I'm going to get my Yoo-Hoo glue stick again. I'm going to add some glue right here and on all 4 of my sides. I'm going to add a little bit of my glue, and then I'm going to, I like to press it from the edge and press it up and then just get it glued down. So pressing it up and then gluing it down. There we go. And you see how nice the corners lay? Nice and flat, and they're not bulky. It's really a nice way to finish that off. Now this is the inside and this is the outside. Now I'm thinking this will cover this. I'm thinking, yes it will. This is Junk Journal Studios, right here, ledger paper. It's a little small one. And I want to glue this right there on this side, the inside, but I want to bring it down just a little bit. I don't want to go all the way to the edge. And my paper ends about right here, so I think maybe something like that. And I'm going to just put it here and see where that leads me. Right here. Let's just take it right here. And then I'm going to trim it. There's a line there, so I'm just going to use that line. Trim it off. And I'm going to glue this right on here, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my Yoo-Hoo glue stick, applying my glue to the back of my page, like this. And then, yes, you've guessed it, I am going to glue it down on the edge. And I'm also going to glue it in the middle, because it's going to be folded in the middle. I do like it this way, so that's the way I want it to go. And I need to bring this down just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Just put it on there the way you like it. Just as long as it covers up the white of your box. And wow, you have got a lovely covered piece of cardstock that we're going to make into a journal. Now, if you don't have a digital, you could do the same thing on the inside as you did on the outside here and make your own. You could switch up your stamps. Maybe you want to do some flowers. Maybe you want to do some bees. It's all up to you. You could go ahead and decorate your own piece of paper for the inside. Excuse me. Now, I have actually gotten one here, and it's completely dry. Oh, I also want to say this. If you like the way it looks when you ink things up, here's my frayed burlap, and I just go ahead and go around it like this to give it some of that color. And I do it after I've glued it all down. I don't know, I just think it's easier and it's a little quicker. That changed it up, didn't it? And I do the same thing for this side as well. And I'll just do this one side in the corner, and then you can see the difference between inking and not inking. And there is a difference, so it is a personal preference whether you want to do that or whether you want to just leave it uninked. Now, bringing in the one that I have already made. And the reason why I'm not folding this one that we just made is because it's still wet. And it never likes being folded when it's wet. So what I want to do is I'm going to give this, I've got it started here somewhere. I think it's right there. I'm running my finger on it like this so that my paper will get the idea to fold with the cardstock. And it's firm. You're going to have to kind of hang on to it. Squeeze it down. This, squeeze it down. Open it up. Oh, it followed really well. Take my bone folder and crease it in there like that, just to get it to, well, you'll understand once you start doing it. You kind of have to get your paper on board. It want to do what it wants to do, and you're going to make it do what you want it to do. All right, so pushing those corners down like that. And there you have your mini tall junk journal ready, and it's nice, and oh my goodness, it's really nice. So I thought that, well, first I need to clean this up. All right, it's all cleaned up. I don't know if I said, but this paper here is digital, is this page, and this is a Roxy's creation, and this is a Junk Journal Studio. Okay, so I've got some vintage lace here, and I just think that it will be beautiful if I place it right here on the edge. And I'm going to let just a little bit on the come over on the edge. I'm going to grab a couple of these paper clips. I'm going to clip it here, and I'm going to clip it here, and I'm going to try to let this first little tiny hole kind of be on the other side, kind of right on the line, just so I get a nice bit of lace sticking out over the edge. I'm actually going to switch to my Aleene's clear tacky glue, clear gel tacky glue, and not my hot glue gun. I'm going to place, this isn't going to work. What makes me think that's going to work? Good heavens, that's not going to work either. Alrighty, so just like that, that's what I want. And I'm actually going to put it right here on the side because I'm going to place my glue right down here. So I want to know how far down to go. I'm going to add my glue around the edge like this, and then just a little bit here, a little further down like that. And now I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to smooth this out. And the reason is because if you don't smooth it out, sometimes it doesn't, when you try to glue it down, it leaves a mark, and the mark never goes away. So I'm going to try to keep that from happening. I'm not promising it's not going to happen, but you have a better chance of it not happening doing it that way. I'm wiping off my fingers. Now I'm going to lay this so that I'm trying to kind of just put it on the edge where those eyelets, the opening of those little decorations, those little tiny holes. I know it's called a name. I don't know the name. Okay, so see that glued down nicely. It's not leaving an ugly mark at all. And then I'm going to take my special little scissors and I'm going to trim, but I'm not trimming right close to the edge. I'm giving it a little space. Now, I will glue this part down as well too. So using my same glue, the Tacky glue, clear gel, I'm gonna put it right there. I'm gonna take my finger, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, and I'm gonna spread it out. And then just lay this right on there, like that. That's perfect. Now it can dry, and we're going to continue. Let's just take a little closer look at this, and you see how it is coming over the side. I don't know, I just think it gives it a really sweet look. Now, because this is still wet, I actually have one that is dry. And I did, remember I said that I made one of these when I was working up my video, and here it is right here. And so I stamped that one. I'd stamped that one a little differently. So however you want to stamp it, there's the inside to this one. And it's over the edge just a little bit there. So what we want to do now is let's decorate the front of this right now. I think that's my best thing to do. So I have that little bit of rickrack, that vintage rickrack that I purchased when my daughter and I went thrifting. And I thought this little tiny piece of rickrack could go right there. I also have some buttons, and I figure out where I put them, right here. And I put some of that fancy thread or trim that I have in my Etsy shop. I just took one of the little trims and I placed it in my buttons. And so I've got my buttons all tied up. It looks like you actually have sewn something with the buttons. Something like this is what I thought I would do. I think that's simple and sweet, and once you see the rest of the decorations, I think you'll like it. So I'm going to glue this in place. All right, so I have that all glued in place, and instead of putting a pocket here, I think I would just like to add a little bit of fussy cuts, and I need to just ink them up just a little bit around the edge, just to take off that white. When you cut, you still see the white, so I'm just gonna do like that. And I don't think I want to put a label or anything with it because of the ledger look that's already going on with this paper. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to pop this fussy cut right here on the corner, like this. And I want to pop this one on the back side of this journal, right here. Something like that. Okay, so now we have our decoration on the inside, front, and back of the cover. I have some papers that I've already gone ahead and I have cut and folded. And these pages are 5 inches by 7 1/4. I made them the same size as my cover. I usually don't do this, making the same size, but this time I did. And I chose coffee dyed tracing paper, coffee dyed lined loose leaf notebook paper, coffee dyed copy weight paper, and then I just repeated the lined, the copy paper, and I finished off with the tracing paper. The tracing paper will give it that wonderful sound that we all enjoy so very much. And I really think it's nice when you have it as the front page because it's almost like the covering of an expensive book. And it just gives it that feel. Now, you can do lots of different things when you get to this point. You could staple it if you have a stapler that goes in this far before, punches or staple out. You could staple it. You could hand sew it. Or you could do what we're going to do today. And we're going to use a piece of sari silk. So I have my piece of sari silk, and someone's going to say, how long is it? It's about 1 yard and 11 inches, approximately. Okay, I just measured it with my fingers and my nose. You know how you do that. All right, so I'm going to find the center. Right here's the center. I'm just going to lay it in. So I've laid my pages. So we've got, I don't think I told you, I have a total of 6 pages, so there's 12 total. I've laid it right there in the spine. And I'm going to maneuver this, so I'm going to tie it right up here at the top, like this. I'm going to push this over here so it kind of comes around the edge. Now, because this is a box and it's not cardstock, it's going to allow you to do this. If it was just basic cardstock, it really would probably bend at this point in time. Now I've got a little extra here. I didn't measure very well, but oh my goodness, is this not adorable? If I can get my fingers out of the way, you can see it. That is super duper cute. Now, I measured it wrong. Let me tie this again. I've got a lot on this end. I got to work that out, and then I'm come back because we're not done yet. There you go. I've got it even now. So you'll want to take your sari silk. Now this sari silk is from Crimson Heart Studios. I'll link her shop down below. You'll want to go around the edge, the corner of your journal, as well as the top, right here around the top. And then you'll be able, now see how pretty that is? You'll be able to flip your pages. It works out just perfectly. And you can change your pages if you want to. Add new, add more. It's all up to you. This is your little journal. And I just think it is so much fun. And I think it's really, really cute. Now the way I want to totally finish it off, I've got a few more things. I've got a little tassel that I made with some of that fancy trim that I have over in my Etsy shop. And I'm going to pop this right here. Now you see you're not going to be untying this bow. This bow is permanent because it's holding all your papers in place. So I've got a little tassel happening there. Oh my goodness, isn't that cute? And then I have some book pages that I have just folded. Well, not book pages. This actually was something from Temu that I coffee dyed. And I folded it like this. Instead of putting pockets in this little journal, I really just wanted to add little pieces of journaling space that you can actually take out of the journal. So we're adding that there. And then maybe let's add this one. I did the exact same thing. This is another piece from Junk Journal Studio. And I just trimmed it, folded it to fit on one of the pages here. And I'm just going to take my little paper clip, which is very little, and I'm going to pop it on here if I can get my fingers to move. There we go. And that's just on there just like that. I think that's really sweet. You could also, if you wanted to, put some labels here and there on the pages. I think that also would be adding some interest to your pages. Now, these labels are from Chapter 1 papers. And that's all there is to this cute little thing. We changed a box and we made it into a mini no-sew junk journal with removable pages. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.